Hey everyone, welcome to InterVIU hosted by VIUSU. My name is Kiera Brown and I'm your elected Director of Events.
My name's Lee Benham and I'm your Director of Internal Relations.
Each fall, the Student Union hosts a club fair where new and returning students can meet some of the wonderful clubs we have here on campus. Unfortunately, since we can't be on campus this year, we've adapted it to an online format. So every Monday and Wednesday, we'll be here to interview one of our amazing clubs and you guys can get to know them.
Today we have the BSA, the Business Students Association, with us. We have Nate and Craig, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Nate Priest. I am a fourth-year student in marketing and management, and I am this year's BSA president. Last year I was the director of merchandise. This is my third year in the BSA, and I'm excited for you guys to see everything we're bringing you this year to try to really build that sense of community among students. And thank you for joining us.
Now, we may be having some technical difficulties due to weather, so Craig may be on and off a little bit, but we're just going to keep rolling with it as it goes. So it looks like he's fallen out of the conversation. So let's keep going.
I'll just say, so that was Craig. Craig is our vice president of the BSA this year, and he was previously a VP for external, so this is his second year of the BSA, and he'd probably say the same thing as me, just excited to meet everybody and just hope this year really just we make the most of this year of what we have to offer.
Awesome. Well, we're really glad that you guys can make it for this interview. If we're going to start it off, how would you guys just describe the BSA to like a new student coming into the school year?
Good question. I'd say the BSA is just an opportunity for business students to learn outside of the classroom and learn in an environment that's a lot more technical than theoretical. We offer some theoretical workshops, and then we also offer some workshops that are more of how to take these theoretical skills you've learned and then apply them to tangible activities. And then those non-tangible activities, we have some just courses and some like workshops that you just might not learn in a traditional class. Like last year, one of the last workshops we were able to provide was on getting a mortgage. So we had somebody come in from TD and speak on how to start planning and how to start doing all those things that you might just not learn in a traditional class. And to top it off, it's just a great place to meet like-minded individuals in your program.
Yeah, that sounds like all the classic things that people always say that should be taught in school, but they never do. So that's awesome.
And no disregard to any kind of professor. They do have a curriculum and they do have a strict plan to follow, and those are very important things to learn. But this is just an opportunity. We kind of go with the untraditional of just the untraditional.
Yeah.
So can any student join your club?
Well, yeah, so you can join as a non-faculty and management student. You just have to apply to become a BSA member. You can attend BSA events outside of that, but it is free this year, and you do get a couple extra benefits, and you do get that kind of exclusive footage, exclusive maybe content that we offer, and we are entered to win into prizes and such when you attend our events. So there's really no downside to filling out that small form for this year.
Now, if you're already a business student, are you automatically a member as well?
No, you do have to sign up as a business student.
Good to know.
The same traditional form that we have available on both our Facebook page and our website, and I believe our Instagram, but you could definitely go check the Facebook page and it's there for you.
Well, I assume that things have changed quite a bit with COVID, but what kind of events did you guys put on in the past?
Again, workshops in regards to just knowledge that may not be based in a classroom, but we also did have a large array of social events such as Halloween parties, St. Patrick's Day parties. I think we had a year-end Christmas party, and it's just an opportunity to really make friends and just build those relationships, because it is hard in the classroom and it is kind of daunting as a new student if you are forced to initiate those conversations. So we really try to help bridge that gap and give people a safe space and a comfortable space where they can feel that they can get to know their fellow classmates, make friends, and network, because us business students like to make connections.
Right. That's one of the wonderful things about clubs, is finding a group of people that you can get to know. Totally.
Exactly.
I remember the Halloween party a couple of years back was a rodeo party or a cowboy party, and that was sweet. I was a big fan of that one.
Yeah. Maybe next semester we can initiate maybe a small get together, but for now we're sticking with that virtual platform.
Yeah. Well, with that in mind too, then, do you guys have anything planned for this year? You know, what events does your club have in store for us this coming year?
Yeah, absolutely. So for actually tomorrow at 4 p.m., we're having an academic misconduct, and she's just going to go over kind of a refresher on academic misconduct. I know we all know what it is, but it's kind of confusing in this virtual era, and we just want to confirm all students are practicing safe education and they're just doing all the stuff that they need to do, and they just don't get themselves in trouble, right?
Is that Sarah Segal?
Yes, sorry. Thank you, Sarah Segal. I had it written down, and then it was just Sarah, and then it just disappeared on me. Thank you for that.
She's our advocacy rep at the Students Union here, so
awesome.
Which is awesome. I think that's awesome. Great. So that's good. I'm glad that the BSA is still putting things on, and that there's still things going on and lots happening.
Yeah, we have an additional 5 events throughout the semester, and we are going to be releasing hopefully a generalized schedule and on both the Instagram, Facebook, and the website shortly.
Well, let's be sure to check it out. We'll make sure to link those later in the broadcast here. Over the years, the BSA has actually done a lot of incredible things. It was the Business Students Association who originally started and ran independently for many years the Vancouver Island Leadership Conference. Your club consistently fundraises more than most other clubs, and you guys actually also won our So You Think You Can Host competition, hosted a couple of years back. Not to mention, as we've already stated, you guys throw some of the best parties and gatherings on campus. So with all of that in play, what advice do you have for other clubs that are looking at taking on larger projects like this, like the conference or huge parties?
Good question. I would say just build a good team, and have good communication amongst each other. Make sure you seek out those people that have those. Everybody has those talents and those things that they're good at, and they do have things that maybe they struggle with. But it's good to find that balance and make sure that you allow those people that really have that determination and drive for a certain subject to kind of follow through on that. And then it's a good reminder that like you can ask for help. So you have a team that can piggyback each other, help in situations where they may need it. And yeah, I think it's just communication and just building that community.
Play on the strengths of what you got and communicate it through. Like that.
Yeah, honestly, it's a big team effort. Like this year, especially, is very. It's an interesting way, but we have quite a smaller array of events. But we're all coming together, and everybody has their own intricate place in the team, and everybody feels included. And that's the big thing too, is just make sure everybody feels as though that they're a part of something that's bigger, and they're creating a sense of community. And hopefully, as these people see these events come to life, and they can really appreciate what they put forth and the energy and the hours that they put forward to help these other students.
Right. Awesome. So you guys have obviously put on a lot of events and done just a lot in the past. Do you guys have any favorite moments or memories for the club, either as a club member or executive?
Favorite club moment. There's a couple of good ones. I definitely I'd have to say the first year-end party I ever went to, that was a lot of fun. I made a couple of really good friends there. I actually met the person at that party that introduced me to the BSA. So attending the BSA party, and now I'm the president. So I think that's kind of a cool way to have that seat fall through. I think all of them just have their unique individual attributes that I definitely gain from. How are you, Craig?
For me, it would definitely be the majors panel. being able to meet with professors at a time where I didn't really have any deep-seated connections with professors in specific majors definitely kind of opened my eye to where a lot of these majors could be applicable and what I needed to do to obtain my goals as a student. So mine's a little bit more of an academic perspective, not to try and one-up you there, Nate, but
no, that was definitely
the majors
I was
panel.
gonna leave that for you.
Right.
I was trying to be the fun one. You can read the academic.
Well, a lot of it is about connections and meeting people.
Yeah, low hanging fruit.
I started working with the Students Union after attending a Frosh event. So it's events like that you can kind of get to know really cool people, and you don't realize how much it's going to change your life.
So now that you guys have moved up into leadership roles, like being president and vice president of BSA, and being in a similar leadership position, how do you guys balance being a leader on campus and your academics? Where do you find this? Where do you find the time for it all?
Personally, I think the time is always there. I think it's just your desire to allocate. So I think I don't like the terminology, like I don't have time for it. It's just whether or not you're going to allocate time. And I think that these kind of events and being associated with all different kinds of groups on campus, I work for the Office of Co-Curricular Engagement and Learning on campus as well with the BSA. And it is a big workload and it is a lot of work, but just having those experiences and having those opportunities to take, again, the things that you learn and just walk out of the university with not just a diploma, but just the actual tangible skills and something that you can put forward to say, hey, like, this is what I've done. And I think time is easy to find. It's just having that kind of the power to make sure that have that kind of drive to complete it. How about yourself, Craig?
Yeah, kind of similar to you. There definitely is always time. And actually, one of the silver linings of being able to work and attend school from home is that there's a lot of time that would have been allocated to just basic transportation means that can now be allocated to things like doing club activities. So I find being at home and having essentially everything occur from home now, I'm able to squeak in BSA necessities throughout the day where I normally would have been occupied, say, driving a vehicle or walking up one of the thousands of stairs on campus.
Yeah, I definitely don't miss those.
No. My calves are getting smaller, though, these days, so I gotta be careful.
Awesome. Well, the Students Union loves being able to support clubs and all that they do. So we have a bit of a hypothetical question of if your club had an extra $10,000 in your budget, how would you spend it?
Ooh, I'll go first. Again, I think something that would be really cool to do is I'd love to start a scholarship. We're thinking about doing something this year in just regards to supporting those that take the time to do their extracurriculars and really get involved on campus and all the different great opportunities that we have available. So I think a scholarship would really be cool because I know it takes a little bit to start that up. And yeah, I think the scholarships are really only one that I really would like to strive for this year. But I'm sure there's a lot of cool opportunities. And I'd love to have more in-person events that we could use that money for. But for now, I think that's probably the scholarship's the one for me. How are you, Craig?
Yeah, scholarship was something we tried to do last year. Then with COVID happening, things just kind of fell apart at the end of the year. So it never materialized. But one thing I would really like, and this just has to do with the working from home platform, is a Microsoft Teams account for all the BSA execs, because I just find communication is so essential for all the members, and I've had a little bit of experience with it, and it's phenomenal. So that would be my wish list. But something more applicable to all the BSA years and the upcoming members would be something to give back to the community. So last year we tried to do a walk or run for mental health. And it costed a fair amount of money. Most of the resources were time, but it did cost a little bit of money. And thankfully, we did have a lot of corporate partners throughout the community willing to support us. But it would be hosting events like that give back to the community in a way that I think everyone can relate to. So that would be my choice.
That's very admirable. Those are really great ideas. It's always interesting to see what you guys can come up with, because you guys come up with a lot of great things.
Actually ties quite closely to our next question as well. So I figure we can just build off it. And it's, do you guys have any goals for the club this year? And it's kind of with the scholarship with Microsoft Teams potentially for all of your members. Like, any other sort of major goals?
Are you thinking about like team individual wise or BSA community as a whole?
BSA wise, like what's your personal goal for the club for growth, but you don't have any extra funding this time?
I think it's just, given the circumstances, I'd really just love to secure everything that we've built over these years, because I know it may be difficult to come back next year or even next semester. So I'd really like to just secure the reputation and the relationships that the BSA has built over the years. And then that way, maybe if it is next year and I'm gone, so be it. But just at least that way that the person comes in can just has we have secured that kind of reputation.
It follows you still to this day. I guarantee that. Everyone knows who the BSA is. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said as well, we know the BSA has a huge executive team. I counted 21. And I'm sure that everyone on that exec team has different skill sets and they're hoping to develop or goals they want to achieve for their term. So you touched on this a little bit, I think, earlier, but how does your team divide up the work to make sure everyone ends up successful?
Craig, you want to throw this one?
Yeah, sure. So we've kind of structured it around a hierarchy, and it essentially starts with Nate, the president, comes down to me, goes to the VPs of the various events, and then to directors. So the VPs are responsible for maintaining a communication and correspondence with their directors. And we just essentially want everyone to have open communication through their VPs for the directors, and then through myself and Nate for the VPs. It's been a little tricky this year just because so many people are doing different things. Everyone's in different cities, time zones, and it's been a little bit tricky coordinating everything, but essentially just trying to stick to the hierarchy. And if any problems arise, of course, we want to greet them with open dialogue and make sure that everything can be resolved in a kind and constructive manner.
Do you guys have any orientation or any goal setting that you do at the start with everyone, or like, is it just based on making sure that everything structures down and is staggered correctly?
It's been an interesting summer just due to the event. We are going to be doing a generalized meeting in about a week, and then that way we're just going to kind of reconfirm and reassure the structure and the hierarchy. And it's difficult for that because you don't want to come across cold when you instigate something like that, because like I don't want to, like, if I'm me telling a director, I don't want to come across like, hey, I don't want to talk to you about your stuff. I just like, so that is a difficult challenge for sure. So I think it's just to reassure that like we all care, we're all looking towards the same common goal, and it's just, we just need to have clear set boundaries and make sure that we go seamless as possible, because communication is already going to be such a difficult task this semester with emails and Zoom calls and trying to read expressions. And that's something that I've definitely come in contact with, is just reassuring your tone and how you present yourself. So I think that's a really big thing to focus on. But I just make sure it's fun. Honestly, we're all here just to make sure all the students have fun, but at the same time, we do need to look back and make sure our team is enjoying themselves as well.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned having a common goal, and that kind of leads us to our next question. Why do you think your club isn't meaningful? What makes it important? What drives you to do it?
What? Ooh, interesting. What drives us is, I think, in a sense, is reputation that it holds. I know that's, I don't want to sound arrogant in saying that, but I think the BSA is known to have a great reputation and a great relationship with the students. And I think that's really what kind of drives me towards my goal of community, because in my first year of university, I didn't do anything. I would show up, I'd go to class, I'd go home, I'd do my homework, and I'd show up the next day. Right. And then until like my second and third and now fourth year, that you just understand what the university has to offer you outside of that. So I just think just take advantage of all these opportunities that the university offers you.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. You'll end up looking back on your university experience, and you'll always think of the things you should have done.
Absolutely. And actually, I'll just add to that. When we were assembling this team, we read over all of the applications. And one common point that I noticed in all of the VPs and the directors was that they were willing and they wanted to enable the student body, be it inside the Faculty of Management and around campus. So I think another common goal throughout the BSA is that everyone just wants to enhance the experience for everyone across the campus. And that even expands to the faculty, because the BSA does work quite closely with the Faculty of Management. So definitely another goal would just be helping out the student body.
That's what we're all about. That's what clubs are about. And you guys are an excellent example of that. Being an excellent example, why is your club different from other clubs at VIU? And why should someone join this year?
Ooh, interesting. Well, that's a hard, because I can't attest to too many of the clubs and what they have to offer. I'm sure we offer a very specific set of opportunities to business students specifically. We used to throw great parties. I'll say that.
We know that the BSA works with different organizations and businesses in the communities to support the events and workshops that you host. Can you tell us a bit about these community partnerships? Are they still happening?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the partners that we got last year are actually kind of portable into this year, because the deliverables that we agreed upon with these partners was we were unable to deliver on them just because of the immediate shutdown of VIU in the spring. So we're still working with corporate partners from last year. And then as well, our VP of External Relations has been hitting the streets, knocking on doors, or more in this case, sending out emails and making telephone calls to establish more relationships and continue relationships with partners that we've had in the past. So we're very grateful for all our partners that help us establish what we do here. And we're also mindful that COVID has been incredibly stressful for not only students, but for business members throughout the community. So we're just being mindful as well that, maybe this year partners might be a little sparse, but we're still willing to work with them in a way that is a constructive relationship for both parties.
Do you have any advice for other clubs on getting sponsorships for events?
It really just comes down to who you know. That's how we establish most of our partnerships, is connections through either previous BSA members or BSA connections, or someone's father on the BSA team may have a connection with another business. So it really just comes down to opening dialogue throughout your group, as well as throughout any connections that you have both in and out of the campus. So yeah.
So that's the business. Yeah.
lastly, is there anything else that you guys would like to share that you guys are doing? Anything going on? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, I think we have a really cool lineup of free online workshops that are going to become available. We have one with yoga. We have a question and answer panel with the acting dean. We have the majors panel as well, which Craig spoke to earlier, which just kind of addresses all the different opportunities that different majors have. Because I know, especially me, that was something that I came into the business program. I didn't even comprehend the different levels of all like the specific majors available. We have a resume workshop, which is going to be awesome. He was actually my internship professor, and he's really good with how to do all that kind of stuff. And then we have a final study help at the end of the year towards exams. We know that can be very stressful. So just come. It's awesome. It's going to be great.
So to wrap up the interview then, where exactly can students get in touch with you? How can they join the BSA?
Yeah, so there's a multitude of options. We do have a BSA email address, which would be internal.viubsa@gmail.com, along with just VIUBSA on Instagram and Facebook. You can find us there. We have very quick response time. There's quite a few of us that are on there. We'll answer your questions quickly, or we can easily connect you to others that can help with your questions, because we just want to see you guys all succeed.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Nate, Craig, it's been a blast. Really, really appreciate you coming here. This is the BSA, and my name's been Lee Vandenham.
And I'm Kiera Brown, and thank you guys so much for attending InterVIU hosted by VIUSU.
Thank you.
Yeah,
See you around campus.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.